there comes a defining moment in every person's life, a single decision that shifts the entire trajectory of who they'll become. Not by chance, not by luck, but by sheer will. It's not fate that molds your story. It's you. Your choice. Your conviction. Picture this. A young man unknown to the world, standing on a quiet, empty street in Vienna. His name, Gustav Mahler. Long before he became a legendary composer, he stood amidst rejection, poverty, and silence. But that night, as he stared at the sky, he made a decision that would rewrite his destiny. He vowed to master his craft so profoundly that the world could never ignore him again. That wasn't just a promise to himself. It was a declaration to life. And that is where greatness is born. In private, in the shadows, when no one's watching. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the perfect circumstance, some invisible sign that says, go. But let me tell you this, that perfect moment never comes. Success, purpose, growth, they don't arrive at your door uninvited. You must build them, brick by brick, decision by decision. You don't stumble into a life of significance. You create it. And the starting point, a non-negotiable decision that who you are today is just the beginning, not the end. It's not about waiting for life to give you a green light. It's about declaring, I'm moving forward. Right now. Think about it. Every visionary you admire, every leader who shaped history, they all had a turning point, a moment where the mind locked onto a mission so fiercely that nothing could shake them off course. Take Elon Musk. Before the rockets, before the electric cars, there was just a man sitting on the floor of a tiny apartment, resolved to bet everything on ideas that sounded insane to everyone else. He decided, and that decision became his fuel, because when your mind is made up, truly made up, the world can't help but bend in your favor. Opportunities, people, circumstances, they all start shifting to match the level of your commitment. The universe listens to certainty. But here's the catch. Most never choose. They wish, they hope, they dabble. But a wish has no power. A decision, on the other hand, is a command to your soul. It's an unshakable statement that says, I'm done negotiating with doubt. If you're tired of feeling stuck, of living the same patterns over and over, it's time to decide. Who are you ready to become? Because the version of you that wins, that creates, that thrives, isn't waiting somewhere out there to be discovered. You must build that version of yourself, deliberately, consistently, unapologetically. Look at history. Every towering success, every groundbreaking thinker, started with one thing: certainty, clarity of purpose. Mahatma Gandhi didn't wait for the world to grant him permission to lead a movement. He decided within himself that his voice mattered, that his mission was non-negotiable, and that decision sparked a revolution. Decide. Right now. Decide who you want to be, what life you're willing to build, and how relentlessly you'll pursue it. Because life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards boldness. The ones who rise are not the most talented, the most privileged, or the most educated. They are the most committed. And commitment, that's born from a decision. Don't look back. Don't second guess. Plant your flag and move. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, you'll face resistance. But what's the alternative? Staying the same? Living a life half-lived? No. You have the power to rewrite everything. To start fresh. To evolve beyond who you've ever been. So decide. And watch how life shifts to meet you at the level of your determination. Let me pull back the curtain, because this decision you just made, that's only the spark. The fire comes when life tests that choice. Because life will test you. You'll encounter setbacks, doubt, moments that try to convince you that you made the wrong call. That's not a sign to quit. It's a signal to rise. Take Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty, faced with rejection and ridicule. At every stage, the world seemed to say, "You're not enough." But she didn't internalize those voices. She built resilience instead. Every no fueled her next step forward. She didn't just survive adversity, she used it. That's the art of resilience. Not just enduring the storm, but harnessing it as the wind that propels you further. Every obstacle, every misstep, every closed door, they're not barriers. They're teachers. And if you're willing to learn, to adapt, to stand back up every single time, you become unbreakable. Imagine climbing a mountain. The air gets thinner, the path steeper, your muscles ache, but every step forward makes you stronger. Every challenge, every resistance, sculpts you into the version of yourself that can handle what's waiting at the summit. J.K. Rowling, before the fame, was rejected by 12 publishers. 12 doors slammed in her face. But she didn't let that define her. She rewrote her strategy, refined her vision, and pressed forward until the world had no choice but to listen. That's what resilience looks like. It's not about pretending you don't hurt, that failure doesn't sting. It's about deciding that pain is not the end. It's part of the process. It's proof you're in motion. Most people stop when they hit resistance. But not you. Not anymore. Every time you fall, every time you feel like giving up, remember, this is the making of you. This is your strength being forged, your character being built. Life will challenge your belief in yourself. That's its job. But your job is to answer back with persistence. Don't let fear of failure trap you in hesitation. Fear has power only over the undecided. But when you're locked in, fully committed, failure transforms. It becomes feedback, not defeat. And here's the truth. You will fail, sometimes spectacularly, but every failure carves a clearer path forward. It sharpens your vision, strengthens your resolve. The secret? Stay standing, no matter what. Because those who keep moving, keep learning, keep pushing, they don't just survive. They win. Resilience is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up, faster, wiser, stronger. So when life tests your decision, and it will, smile, because that's your confirmation that you're on the right path. The path worth walking is never easy, but it's always worth it. Embrace the resistance. Let it forge you, because on the other side of every trial is a stronger, bolder, unstoppable you. But here's the truth no one tells you. Resilience alone isn't enough. You need belief. A belief so deep, so unwavering, that it becomes the foundation for everything you build. Because if you don't believe in you, who will? Think of Serena Williams. The world saw her as just another girl from Compton with a tennis racket. But in her mind, she was already a champion. Before the trophies, before the records, she decided, I belong at the top. That's the kind of self-belief that reshapes reality. It's not arrogance. It's certainty. It's looking in the mirror and knowing that despite the flaws, despite the doubts, you are worthy of success. That you carry within you everything needed to create something extraordinary. Let me be clear. Belief is not something you're born with. It's something you build, day by day, choice by choice. Every time you affirm your worth, every time you push through the discomfort, that belief gets stronger. You have to speak it aloud, to yourself, not just once, daily. I am capable. I am worthy. I am becoming. Because the mind believes what it hears repeatedly. So feed it with certainty. Build a sanctuary of confidence inside your thoughts, a place where doubt has no power. And yes, there will be days when the belief wavers, when imposter syndrome sneaks in, whispering lies. That's normal, but you don't have to entertain those thoughts. Recognize them for what they are, noise, and keep moving. Luciano Pavarotti, one of the greatest voices the world has ever known, wasn't an overnight sensation. He faced years of obscurity, of people saying he'd never make it. But he didn't let the world's opinion define him. He anchored himself in belief. That belief carried him to stages he once only dreamed of. That same power is inside you. When you decide to believe in yourself, unapologetically, everything shifts. The world reflects back the energy you project. Confidence attracts opportunities. Belief builds momentum. But you have to own it, fully, fiercely, because the journey won't get easier. You will get stronger. Self-belief turns challenges into stepping stones, rejection into redirection. So nurture it, protect it, speak it, live it. This is the unspoken truth of success. It's not just about what you do, but who you believe yourself to be while you're doing it. And when that belief is unshakable, when it lives in your bones, nothing can stop you. Not because life gets simpler, but because you become unstoppable. Now that your belief is planted, there's one more force that turns belief into reality. Purpose. Not just any purpose, but a clear, undeniable, laser-focused purpose that guides your every move. Without it, even the most gifted get lost. With it, even the ordinary can achieve the extraordinary. Think of Nikola Tesla. Long before his inventions lit up the world, he was driven by a purpose so vivid, so unshakable, that no obstacle could deter him. His purpose wasn't just about success, it was about revolutionizing the way humanity lived. That vision pulled him forward, through every setback, every rejection. That's the power of a defined purpose. It becomes your compass when the path gets dark, your fuel when energy runs low. Without it, life feels scattered. Your efforts become fragmented, your time wasted on distractions that don't serve you. But when you're clear on your why, every decision gains direction. Every action aligns. You don't just wake up and drift. You wake up and build. So ask yourself, what am I here to create? What legacy am I destined to leave? And don't settle for vague answers. Get specific. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let it pulse through your veins until it becomes inseparable from who you are. Look at Steve Jobs. He wasn't just building computers. He was on a mission to change the way the world interacts with technology, to blend art with function. That purpose gave him clarity when competitors faltered, when markets crashed. It kept him grounded, focused, unstoppable. Your purpose must be that clear, that personal, and once you define it, protect it, feed it, let it filter your decisions. If an opportunity doesn't align with your mission, let it go. If a distraction pulls you off course, cut it off. Purpose simplifies life. It tells you what to chase, what to ignore, what to fight for. It makes sacrifices easier, because the destination is worth it. But remember, purpose isn't a one-time revelation. It's a daily choice, a standard you live by, a North Star you realign to every morning. When you live with purpose, your energy shifts. People feel your focus. Opportunities gravitate to your clarity. Life stops happening to you. It starts happening through you. So define your purpose. Own it. Live it out loud. Because the world steps aside for the one who knows exactly where they're headed. Now imagine this. You've made the decision, built resilience, anchored belief, and defined your purpose. But there's one more ingredient that turns all of it into pure momentum: passion. Passion is the heartbeat of your journey. It's what transforms hard work into art, obstacles into opportunities, and effort into something exhilarating. Consider Maya Angelou. Her words, her poetry, her storytelling, they weren't just skills. They were fire. She didn't write because she had to. She wrote because she couldn't not. Her passion made her voice impossible to ignore, her legacy impossible to forget. That's the secret. Passion makes the climb feel like a calling, not a chore. Without it, you'll burn out. You'll grind yourself down, chasing goals that don't ignite your soul. But when you're passionate, even the hard days have meaning. You wake up eager, not because the path is easy, but because the mission is alive inside you. Passion is what keeps the flame burning when success feels far away. It's what fueled Jane Goodall, as she spent years in the wild, studying chimpanzees, driven by an insatiable love for understanding nature. Her work wasn't glamorous. It was grueling, lonely, uncertain. But her passion turned that wilderness into a sanctuary, for herself and for the world. What lights you up? What work would you do even if no one ever noticed? What cause would you fight for, even if you had to stand alone? That's your compass. And here's the magic. Passion is contagious. People are drawn to it. It wakes them up. It reminds them of their own forgotten dreams. When you live passionately, you don't just inspire, you activate others. But passion isn't passive. You have to cultivate it. Feed it daily. Surround yourself with ideas, people, and experiences that fan that flame. Protect it from the noise that dulls your spark. Because when you operate from passion, work stops feeling like obligation. It becomes expression. Creativity flows. Energy multiplies. And that's when you become magnetic. Not just in your career, but in life. Because the world doesn't need more people sleepwalking through their days. It needs those who are alive with purpose, driven by passion, unafraid to feel deeply and act boldly. So don't settle for routine. Don't silence that fire within. Let it guide you, fuel you, elevate you. Because when you live and lead with passion, you don't just change your life. You ignite a movement. And now, here's the final truth. The journey never truly ends. If you want to keep rising, to keep evolving, you must become a perpetual learner. Growth doesn't stop once you reach a goal. In fact, that's where the real adventure begins. Take Leonardo da Vinci, an artist, inventor, scientist, philosopher. His brilliance wasn't just talent. It was his insatiable curiosity. Every day he sought to learn something new, to stretch the limits of what he thought possible. That hunger for knowledge made him timeless. That's your edge too, the commitment to never stop growing. When you stay curious, life becomes an endless playground of possibilities. Every book, every conversation, every experience is a new opportunity to evolve. It keeps your mind sharp, your spirit adaptable, because the world is always changing, and the ones who thrive are the ones who stay flexible, who adapt, who innovate. Think of Jeff Bezos. What began as an online bookstore became a global empire. Not because he had it all figured out, but because he kept asking, "What's next? What more can we do?" That's the mindset of mastery. Constant evolution. So feed your mind daily. Read voraciously. Seek mentors. Ask better questions. Don't just stay within your field. Explore others. Creativity is born where diverse ideas collide. And just as important, adapt. Don't cling to old strategies or outdated habits. Be willing to pivot, to reinvent, to start anew. The future belongs to those who see change not as a threat, but as an invitation. Look around. The most successful people aren't the strongest or the smartest. They're the most adaptable. They anticipate shifts and move with agility, while others freeze in place. But above all, remember this. The greatest fulfillment doesn't come from what you gain. It comes from what you give. Mother Teresa didn't accumulate wealth or fame for herself. She devoted her life to service. And in doing so, left a legacy that still inspires millions. True success is about impact. It's about lifting others as you rise. It's about using your talents, your knowledge, your energy to make the world better than you found it. So ask yourself every day, who can I help? How can I contribute? Because when you serve, you grow. And the more you give, the richer your life becomes. Not just in wealth, but in meaning, in connection, in joy. You have everything you need to build a life of significance. The power to decide, the strength to endure, the belief in yourself, the clarity of purpose, the fire of passion, the thirst for learning, the gift of adaptability, and the heart to serve. Now it's time to rise, to rebuild, to redefine your destiny. Not someday, today. Your future is waiting. Go claim it, create it, become it, because you're unstoppable.